Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the Detroit Lions. This team finished off the season on an 8-2 run after starting off 1-6, and Lions fans' confidence right now is through the roof. It's sitting all the way up there at 99%, and for a team that started 1-6, the fan base, the players, they have remained heavily optimistic, and it's for a really good reason. Very, very good reason. I feel like the score, the 1-6 record was not indicative of what that Lions team looked like at times. Maybe not the entire 60 minutes. That was their big thing, was play like maybe 3 good quarters and then have a couple of hiccups, maybe some time management hiccups there late in games, and they'd lose these games by like 3-4 points to top contenders or just good football teams. But the confidence has not wavered, and I absolutely love it. 89% of fans also believe that Jared Goff is the team's quarterback of the future. We'll talk about all this in today's video, though. If you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. I post NFL content every single day, along with Lions videos a couple times a week. It is now the offseason here, which is unfortunate because now, of course, it's wild card weekend here, right? And now you see all these rumblings on Twitter or just sports news stations about how NFL insiders, NFL executives around the league believe that the Lions should be quote unquote livid after the officiating in the Rams vs. Seahawks game to finish off the regular season, and that it actually should be the Lions in the playoffs right now. But it is what it is. Just puts another chip on the shoulder for the Detroit Lions. This team is young and they are hungry, and they have a just bundle of nice draft picks and young talent. So let's try and get 250 likes on today's video. That would be absolutely awesome. I appreciate you guys. But there's just seriously been so much optimism surrounding this team. 9-8. First time being 500 since 2017. You've seen the quotes from the players. This is just the start, I promise. And it's with good reason, man. They're going to make some moves in free agency. They're going to make some moves in the draft. They have the 6th pick and the 18th pick. And I've seen some really enticing. We could go through one a little bit later on in today's video. I've seen some mock drafts that I am very enticed by, mainly focused on the defensive end. But today, real quick, we're going to talk about the quarterback situation because Jared Goff just threw for 4,400 yards, completion percent of 65.1, 29 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Now, Brad Holmes said a couple of things about the quarterback situation, and end of the season press conference, a couple of things stood out. He kind of left the door open for drafting a quarterback. I don't know if it's going to happen. I highly, highly doubt it's going to happen with the 6th pick. Maybe it'll happen with the 18th. We'll talk about that later on, which if you can't tell, I'm very excited about because it's a player, it's a quarterback I absolutely love. But I wouldn't be surprised if we've been talking about it. Fans have been saying this on my videos as well last couple of months. I think maybe if they're going to go with the quarterback, it'll be in the 2nd round, it'll be in the 3rd round, just somebody who can be backing up Jared Goff, the future starter. Because Jared Goff's in his prime right now, and the guy's 29 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, Super Bowl guy. Like, Jared Goff is more than capable. But here's a couple of things of what Brad Holmes had to say. I think it's a lot easier to get worse at quarterback than to get better at quarterback in this league. That is just 100% factual. Look all across the league. There are so many teams that have these enticing rosters. I like to use the Jets as an example because their defense is top 5. I mean, they have a very stacked defense. A lot of it is on the younger side too, and all season they went through Joe Flacco, Zach Wilson, Mike White. They went through all these different quarterbacks, and it's not really in recent memory have the Jets had a consistent, reliable quarterback to my knowledge. But just having a reliable QB, it could make all the difference in the world. And then here also is what Brad Holmes had to say about Jared Goff. I do think that Jared has proven to everybody that he is a starting quarterback for us. Statistics don't lie. Eye test doesn't lie. This guy, Jared Goff's last interception was months ago. He was next to perfect in the Lions' last 2 months of the season. So the good news for Detroit is not only do you have all of this draft assets, but you do have around $18 million in salary cap room heading into this offseason. Now that number is not finalized, but it's set to be between $18 million and around $20 million. Now, the one thing with the Lions is they have a bunch of free agents. They have 18 unrestricted free agents plus 4 restricted free agents and 7 exclusive rights free agents. So they're going to have to make some decisions, and not all of them are going to be easy. You have guys like Alex Anzalone, who had a phenomenal season. He's going to be looking for some money. Jamal Williams broke NFL records, broke Lions records. This guy had almost 20 rushing touchdowns on the season. He's definitely going to want a little bit of money. DJ Chark had a very impressive comeback season, although he did deal with injuries more so towards the beginning of the season. But those are all 3 guys I would love to see back with the Detroit Lions, but the point still stands. There's about 18 of them, unrestricted wise. So they're definitely going to have to make some decisions. And, there's always going to be a few who are going to go chase the money, but I think for the most part, this identity, this culture that the Lions have created with Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, both offense and defensive coordinators. Looks like Ben Johnson's going to be the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, unfortunately, but they've built this culture that I think for the most part, most of these guys will be willing to work with the team and come back. But this is going to be a great free agency class. I've seen a bunch of rumblings out there. Guys like Jimmy Ward, 32. He's had some injury issues before, but he has a 91.8 run defensive grade from PFF. So he might actually be the best run defensive back in the National Football League. You also have Drew Tranquill, who had a breakout-esque season. He only started 11 games over his first 3 seasons, but this year he had 146 tackles, 15 pressures, 5 sacks, and an interception, along with a 76.7 coverage grade on 502 coverage snaps. So those are just to name a few. Those are some guys I've seen rumbling around as far as potential future Detroit Lions. There's guys like Jermaine Pratt out there who's having a breakout season with the Cincinnati Bengals. Jamel Dean is a good cornerback to possibly look into. Larry Ogunjobi, nice defensive end who had an iffy season so far. Or not so far at the end. Now, draft-wise, here's what I wanted to talk about, because I was reading this mock draft on Lions Wire, and they had Anthony Richardson from Florida going 18. And I absolutely loved it. I am not a huge proponent of the Detroit Lions drafting a quarterback, especially at 6. I think they should definitely target defensive tackle. But, man, 18 going with Anthony Richardson, I really like that. Richardson's got this thing called the it factor. Now, Florida's season wasn't necessarily perfect. I actually got to see Richardson play live not too recently. Went to a Florida game, but this guy has the it factor. And so I think he's one of those few QBs where if they were to, go for him at 18, if he's still available on the board, I would not be upset with that one bit. But for the most part, what I've seen in mock drafts are mainly on the defensive side. You got the defensive tackle, you have the linebacker position, you have the cornerback position, the safety position. I've also seen a couple sprinkles of wide receiver and offensive line, which you can never go wrong with, but I feel really good with the Detroit Lions heading into this offseason, man. They got some money to spend. They got some decisions to make, but they have a ton of draft capital, a ton of draft value, and we know Brad Holmes is going to definitely do a good job on that. So let me know what you guys are thinking about this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit that sub button, and let me know when you would want the Lions to draft a quarterback down below.